Hi loves, we're back with our first video since Vlogmas. It's our second video of 2019, but kind of our first video because the first video that I posted on New Year's Day was still in relation to New Year's resolutions and setting goals, etc. So I've had so many topics that I want to cover. I have so many things on deck since all of the Christmas and holiday stuff is behind us and all of the vlog stuff and everything that was going on throughout December and the holiday season. But something that's been on my heart a lot for the past couple of days, past couple of weeks, but especially during a situation that I've experienced over the past couple of days to talk about has been a little bit more of a serious topic. And I get so many great comments and compliments and responses to my funny, lighthearted, either vlogs or like the ish people say about Prison Wives video, the funny stuff. But I get a much deeper, more meaningful response, and we get a lot of really good interaction to these type of deep videos, or the ones I did, like the one I did recently about institutionalization and how to respond to that, because that's what our lives revolve around right now, are deep, serious topics. So something that's been on my heart to talk about is stigma and breaking the stigma that exists against prison wives and family members and living above the stigma and how I feel about that. So let's start this video with the definition of stigma. What exactly is stigma that everybody always talks about, that says that we suffer from being stigmatized as prison wives and family members? So stigma is when someone, even yourself, views a person in a negative way because they have a mental condition or because they are in some sort of socioeconomic group that has preconceived notions about that group or that illness or whatever that stigmatized area of their life is. So some people describe stigma as a feeling of shame or judgment being put on you by somebody else. Stigma can even come from an internal place. So I can even stigmatize myself and confusing that feeling with just a general feeling of being bad or something that I'm ashamed of or something that I don't feel right about in my life. I kind of stigmatize myself, and it actually can be a diagnosable mental health disorder, but we're not going to go there for this video. So what is the difference between stigma and discrimination? I want to clarify that for the sake of this video. Stigma is a negative stereotype, and discrimination is a behavior that results from that negative stereotype. So for example, right, I'm a prison wife, and there's a stigma that exists against prison wives, like, oh, she's desperate, she could never get a date, she's insecure, that's why she stays with him. That is stigma. Discrimination would be if I get fired from my job because I'm a prison wife. If I get, if my friends just choose not to be friends with me anymore because I'm a prison wife. If my family chooses not to interact with me anymore or disown me or take me out of, let's just say, I'm just making things up, but take me out of some sort of an inheritance because of my relationship, that is their prerogative and that's not illegal. It's a different type of discrimination, but you're discriminating me because of a stigma. I hope that that makes sense. So the reason that when I started this YouTube channel and when I started my nonprofit organization that I founded back in 2009, Strong Prison Wives and Families, I decided to use the phrase break the stigma. And I kind of borrowed that from a campaign that was really popular at the time, and it was actually hashtag break the stigma. And it was regarding breaking the stigma of having a mental illness. So I borrowed that phrase, break the stigma, and brought it into our life as prison wives because we also live being judged on a regular basis and being stigmatized because of our decisions to stay in relationships with prisoners. Well, here's the thing. Stigma exists for a reason, and I think that I did myself a disservice by constantly saying, I'm breaking the stigma, I'm breaking the stigma, I'm breaking the stigma, because I'm taking that onus off of myself and I'm trying to control somebody else. I'm trying to control somebody else's feelings and thoughts and behaviors. Well, here's the thing, you guys. Stigma exists for a reason, right? So this is a very different stigma than stigmatizing somebody who has a mental illness. That is something out of their control. That is something that is a disease. It's something that they're born with. That would be like stigmatizing somebody for having cancer. It is something beyond their control. I totally can get down with and agree with breaking the stigma against somebody who has a mental illness or a disease. However, stigma against us is a little bit different because there are plenty of people who live to that stigma. So my husband always tells me that stereotypes and stigma exists against people inside for a reason, because a lot of those people live to it. He chooses to live above it. Well, it's the same thing out here. And so I had a rough couple of days when I made that video, and there were a couple of points that I was trying to make, and I didn't quite make them while I was in the process of filming that video. So I wanted to come in and add them and piece them into the parts of the video where I just kind of missed my own point. So first of all, I had said that Adam always says that there's a stigma inside against guys that are in prison, and that he chooses to live above that stigma. And the reason that he says that is he always says, so it's up to me when I'm released to get out and prove myself to people and prove that I've changed and that I'm rehabilitated. And I can't just get out of prison and expect people to just believe that I'm a different person now because I've grown and matured and I've done the work and I've made myself a better person just because I say it. So I have to live above the stigma that exists against somebody who has served time, especially for a violent crime, although nobody was hurt, but that's not the point of this video. He has that stigma on him, so it will be up to him to live against that stigma and to use his own actions to start changing the minds of people who have preconceived notions and judgments against people who have been to prison before. I know that's it's like a kind of a way with words saying breaking stigma or living above the stigma, but living above it puts the onus on me. Breaking it takes that onus off of me and puts it on somebody else. So I only have control over myself, my actions, my behaviors, my thoughts, my words. I don't have control over other people. So it kind of put this unattainable goal on myself to break a stigma that I don't have control over breaking, number one. And number two, I kick people off my website every day. I delete comments off the website off of our social media platforms every single day. We have a team of volunteers who does that all day long, every day, because people are posting things that live to the stigma. They're glorifying and glamorizing that life and that criminal activity and that criminal life that glorifies and lives to the stigma that exists against. Number two is that I was saying later in the video that, I have members where we have to kick off or delete their posts all the time off of Strong Prison Wives and Families social media platforms and website because they are living the stigma. And I don't think I really honed in on this point, is that stigma exists for a reason, and unfortunately people are confirming that stigma and living that type of life and glorifying and glamorizing being a prison wife as being cool and tough and hard, and every single day that's being reinforced towards the people who are judgmental against us. Not saying it's right, however, there are hundreds of thousands of people who are living to that, just like there are thousands of people who are living against it. But the point is, stigma exists for a reason, and let's be real, there's people who are living a trashy life, and there's people who choose to do that, and so they consciously make that decision every single day to be like that. So it is not up to me to make them. I want to point out 7 different things that you can do to live above a stigma. Number 1, you can get treatment and seek therapy if you feel as if you need treatment, if the stigma is getting to you, or if you feel judged all the time, if it's making you anxious all the time, insecure, or paranoid. I've been down that road. If you feel like you need help, go get help. Number 2, do not let stigma create self-doubt for you and shame. Stigma doesn't just come from others. So what that means is don't let other people's judgments make you question your own beliefs and make you question what you feel is right and make you start feeling ashamed of yourself. I've been down that road where I feel, I've talked about it before. I will talk about it again. I don't want to make this video too long, but where I feel like I'm being judged all the time, and it took a toll on me mentally, and now I have a really hard time opening up to people and talking to people and making new friends because I don't want to have to open myself up to sharing this part of my life because I do fear being judged. So that's something I have to work on with myself and that I want to pass along to you guys. Do not let stigma hold you back or make you feel ashamed of your decision or like you're doing something wrong. As long as it jives with you and your morals and your values, there is nothing wrong. As long as your relationship is healthy, he is not abusing you, she's not abusing you, as long as they are not trying to control you from behind the wall, as long as you are happy and healthy and sound as an adult and in your relationship, don't let anybody tell you or try to break you up or make you feel self-doubt about being in that relationship. Number 3, this is huge, huge, huge for our community. Do not isolate yourself. So make sure that you're not trying, like I just said, it's hard for me to make new friends. Well, make sure that even if you're not making new ones, you're interacting with trusted friends, with your family, with people you love, with people who understand. You can make new friends who are in your situation. You can make new friends at Visit. You can make new friends through the Strong Prison Wives and Families website, and so, which isn't up, but we're getting there. Or our social media pages, people who understand, people who don't judge you for your decisions, but don't just shut everybody in the whole world off because you feel like you're being judged all the time, because that's unhealthy for you, and it's going to potentially make you, like it did for me after a while, like it made me feel social anxiety in a lot of situations. It made me feel paranoid. It made me really have trouble interacting with people who weren't part of this community and my friends and my fellow volunteers and all of you guys. And it just kind of can make you resent him and your decision to stay in the relationship. So try as hard as you can to interact with people. It doesn't mean you have to say yes to going out to everything. It doesn't mean that you even have to go out. You might want to just participate in a girls' night-in party. You might want to come to Dallas with us when we're all going to be there, and you can interact with peers who will not judge you and make you feel stigmatized. Number 4, don't equate yourself with your stigma. So don't start saying, oh, I did this for so long too. What's wrong with me? Everybody else thinks there's something wrong with me, so there has to be something wrong with me. Or I'm just a prison wife. I'm just as good as my title, right? I am only a prison wife, so I'm going to do only prison wife things. And I said this in my video before that I had mentioned before, and I'll link somewhere in the cards at some point in this video, but the video when I was talking about being institutionalized, I needed to learn this lesson, and I am so passionate about passing this along to you. This is part of our life. However, this is part of my video that I made on Christmas Eve that I'll post somewhere here as well. But this is not our whole life, nor should it consume or become our whole entire life, because again, that's going to lead to resentment. It's going to make you start feeling like you need to withdraw from every other area of life. It's going to make you feel inadequate. It's going to make you feel as if you don't have an identity, or you will have an identity crisis if you break up. It could help you stay in a relationship that is no longer serving you, or it can make you feel as if you're having an identity crisis when he comes home because it's all you know and you pushed everybody else away. It can make you very codependent in your relationship. So make sure that you are not identifying as your stigma, and you don't believe that you are just your stigma. You are better than that. You are more than that. And you are a multifaceted, dynamic, is that a word? You're a very dynamic individual. Next, this is my favorite. Number 5, join a support group. That is exactly why I created and founded the nonprofit Strong Prison Wives and Families, to support you through this, to help you connect with like-minded individuals who can fully and wholly empathize with you, what your experience and what you're feeling stigmatized about. So go on our, comment below, interact with me. I comment and I respond to every single comment that I can. I apologize if you're like, you don't respond to me. I literally respond to every single one that I see. There might be times where I get a ton and I just don't see them all. There might be times where I am super busy and I just don't have time to literally comment back as I get them, so I might miss a couple. So just know that I am not singling anybody out. I love you all the same. It's like my mom says about her 6 children. I do not have a favorite. I absolutely mean that from the bottom of my heart. I genuinely love each one of you so much and cannot thank you for your supportive comments and everything below. So that said, make sure that you connect in the comments. I will interact with you. I will help you get through this. You can meet each other, and then also for more of a social media type interaction and making and meeting friends, go to our Strong Prison Wives page on Facebook. We also have the private group where you can interact more. There's a lot of interaction there. It is #InvisibleShackles SPWF. That is also on Facebook. We have at Strong Prison Wives everywhere on social media. We have a large Instagram following. We have a large Twitter following. We have a large Pinterest following. We also have our app, you name it, we're there. And we are working on strongprisonwives.com. It is still being built, but it is worth the wait. It'll be a great website once it's done. We've just had a little bit of tech issues going on throughout the past year, so we're getting there. But the point is, the community is there for you. So make sure that you lean on your support sisters. Number 6. Speak out against stigma. So that's something that I'm doing right now. I'm through my YouTube videos. Something that you could do is when you feel judged and somebody makes a comment. This came up on the Invisible Shackles page the other day. Somebody made a very rude comment about how they believed that, to one of our members in person, that they believed that everybody who with a criminal conviction should just die. Like anybody who has committed a crime should die. And so that was an opportunity where she could use that situation instead of, and that is a very infuriating thing to hear, but she could use that as an experience to speak out against stigma, to educate that person, and to say a couple of quick choice words before she removes herself from that situation very quickly to break stigma and respond in a way that's probably not the most intuitive way to respond because your claws want to come out, and I get it. But you could, I know there were so many comments and I didn't get a chance to read all of them, but I kind of scrolled through a couple and there were so many great supportive comments. Like you could have used that as an opportunity to say something along the lines of, I'm so sorry you feel that way and I hope that you never clearly you've never encountered somebody in jail or you don't have a family member. However, and I thought of this afterwards, I just didn't have time to comment, but so for all of the people that you ever have said that line to, you're insulting 50% of them. Because 1 in every 2 people, that's how high and how much of a problem mass incarceration is in our country. 1 in every 2 people has a connection to somebody who's incarcerated. So you just insulted half of the people that you made that ignorant comment to. So point is, you can use these opportunities that present themselves to you to speak out and stand up against stigma. The next is to just live above the stigma and set the example. Like I just said, whatever that stigma is, that we're tough and harsh and cruel and mean and desperate and insecure and uneducated and stupid and whatever other thing that I can't even think of, just live above it. Live beyond it. I mean, I've worked for years to make our social media pages live above that. And I've met some of the most intelligent, talented, beautiful, loving, supportive tribe of women through that. So you just keep doing you. You just keep living the life that you want to live. Let everybody else fall to the wayside, because somebody that is judging you, because that's what stigma is just being judgmental towards somebody or something that you just don't understand or have experience with. Let them go do them. You're judging because you are insecure and you are not accepting of something within yourself. Let it go. We don't need to try to break stigma. We don't need to try to change people's minds. We don't need to fight to be soldiers for it. I kind of feel beyond that. I kind of feel like silent protests, be me, do me, live above it, live beyond it, live against it, and let it prove itself over time. Clarifications make sense. I just think that this needed to be clarified in this video because I don't think I drove that point home, although I feel like I kind of reiterated and kind of repeated myself a few times in that video. I don't think I got this far. So, and now that it's, you know, first thing Sunday morning, I'm driving home from my friend's house, and I was re-listening to the video to see if, before I edited it, to see if there was anything I needed to chop out or add in. And I think that by not adding this in, it wouldn't have made all the points that I wanted to make. So I'm going to go continue this drive. I have about a half hour left. And I would love for you guys to comment below, like I said earlier, with your thoughts. And also, I would love to know what you guys would like to see in future videos. We're going to do some more lives now that Vlogmas is over. I wanted to do lives during Vlogmas, but I also was releasing my videos at the same exact time early in the morning every single day. So you guys keep staying strong, keep loving strong, keep supporting one another through this journey, because you're one day closer to it all the way behind you. Lots of love from my heart to yours. I'll see you guys in the next video. But in the meantime, I would love to hear your thoughts on stigma, on breaking stigma, on how you've been stigmatized, on how you choose to live above, against, beyond, or if you're continuing to try to break it. Please comment below and let me know your thoughts, because it's something that I've been truly thinking about because of some stuff that has come up lately. And for ages, I've said I want to break stigma. I need to break stigma. I need to break stigma with SPWF. And it just dawned on me I don't, and neither do you. We just need to live above it. Love you guys.